Welcome to the Resilient Retail Game Plan, a podcast for anyone wanting to start, grow or scale a profitable creative product business with me, Catherine Erdley. The Resilient Retail Game Plan is a podcast dedicated to one thing, breaking down the concepts and tools that I've gathered from 20 years in the retail industry and showing you how you can use them in your business. This is the real nuts and bolts of running a successful product business, broken down in an easy, accessible way. This is not a podcast about learning how to make your business look good. It's the tools and techniques that will make you and your business feel good. Confidently plan, launch and manage your products, and feel in control of your sales numbers and cash flow to help you build a resilient retail business. Hello and welcome to episode 25 of the Resilient Retail Game Plan. Thank you so much for listening. My name's Catherine Erdley and I'm your host as well as the founder of the Resilient Retail Club. The Resilient Retail Club is my membership group for creative product businesses and you can find out more at resilientretailclub.com. And if you're listening to this as this episode is released, then you may just be in time to join my free 5-day challenge. Over 400 businesses have already signed up, which is very exciting. We're going to be talking about how you can plan your sales for the year. It's running from Monday to Friday, the 25th to the 29th of January. And if you go to resilientretailclub.com/challenge, you can click through to sign up. I hope that you'll join me. It's going to be a lot of fun and I'm really excited about it. So this episode is dedicated to what success in 2021 looks like. This is based off an article that I wrote for Forbes.com. Well, it's based off a couple of things, really. There's the Forbes article that I wrote, and then there's also a session that I did in early December with Elizabeth Stiles. I just got over COVID, I think is the first thing I managed to get up and dressed for. So we did a session that was called 5 Routes to Success. And what we did was we pulled out examples of 5 businesses that had done really, really well in 2020 that we wanted to shout out. And we wanted to just touch on a little bit about what that meant for your business and how you could take some of those learnings and move them forward. And that's really what I want to talk about today. So what has been happening in the world of small creative product businesses in 2020, and what does that mean for you and your business in 2021? Let's start off then with a few stats, because you know I love to look at the numbers. 2020 saw an explosion of e-commerce product businesses. So very specifically, there were 26,000 of those types of businesses. So that was people selling products online. They started in 2020, according to research. And there's lots of reasons for that. Small business ownership has been rising over the last few years as people get more interested in working for themselves and the opportunities that there are out there. And of course, in 2020, there was a huge rise in the number of people who were on furlough, people who were enjoying the benefits of working from home, having more flexibility, having more control, and therefore more people really taking it seriously, the idea of creating something for themselves that they could do from their home that could generate real income for them and then could give them that freedom, that lack of commuting, that ability to work around their families that they really wanted. So we have seen a really big rise in the number of people who are starting these kinds of businesses. And I've talked previously in other podcast episodes about the reasons for that, as well as everything that I've talked about, sort of socio-economic reasons, but also the fact that it's so much easier to access the technology that you need in order to launch your product business. And also, I think an important thing is just the fact that customers are much happier buying from small businesses. In fact, they actively want to support them. In the earlier days of online selling, for example, you had to convince someone that it was safe to purchase from you, that they were definitely going to get their goods, that they would be able to resolve the issue if they didn't receive them, that kind of thing. That whole layer of distrust or the need to overcome those concerns of customers has really decreased. And in 2020, especially where we saw people flocking to buying online, lots of customers who maybe previously wouldn't have felt comfortable shopping online now are. So there's so many reasons why more and more people are starting their business. What does it take to succeed then? And that's really what I wanted to focus in on this episode. So we know why there are lots more businesses. We know that it's a great time. I've talked before about how it's a really great time to be a small product business, that people want to support you, that I believe that 2021 is going to be another really important and successful year for lots of businesses. But what do you need to do as a product business owner to maximize your chances of success? So I'm going to run you through a few key points. The first one is to know your niche. Knowing your niche, I've said it before, I'll say it again, but it is so important now more than ever. In fact, it's just getting more important. And what does know your niche mean? Well, know your niche means in what way are you different from your competitors? And how can you, or why would somebody buy from you, not from somebody else? And there's lots of ways of defining a niche. You can have a certain aesthetic to your products and your brand. You can have certain beliefs that people would buy from you because of your beliefs and the way that you make your products or source your products. It could be that you serve a very specific customer, for example. So there's lots of ways to define a niche. And one of the businesses that we talked about, that Elizabeth and I talked about in our session pre-Christmas, was a company called Cheeky Zebra. And it is a card company run by Sasha. And it has a very distinctive tone. It is cheeky, as the name suggests. So it's very funny and cheeky. And again, that is a niche. So there are many greetings card companies, but if you share Sasha's sense of humor, then you will want to buy from her company. It's as simple as that. And that's really the strength of having a niche. It's what helps you stand out when, as I said, 26,000 people starting e-commerce product businesses. It's hugely positive in so many ways because it speaks to the size of the opportunity out there for those business owners, but at the same time, it also speaks somewhat to the challenge. And this is a question that's come up within the Resilient Retail Club. It came up in one of our recent Ask Me Anything sessions. And one of the club members asked me, how do you define your niche if you have got lots of different people who are doing something similar to you, who have maybe similar products, or you feel like you're in a very crowded marketplace? And my answer was, I love a very simple competitor mapping process, which is something I've talked again previously when we talked about pricing products to map out your competitors, but it actually helps a lot, not just with pricing, but also with establishing your niche. So if you're sitting there and you make, I always use this category as an example, but let's say you make candles and you want to understand where you sit in relation to others, then you may draw out a map. And you could put two axes. So you're going to have one scale which maybe runs from type of wax used, so you could differentiate the different companies by the type of wax, whether they're using soy or whether they're using beeswax, for example, or whatever else, other kind. So you could then categorize them that way. And then you might also have another axis that runs from premium to more value-led. Or you might have premium to value, and then the other axis might be whether or not they are design-led or whether they are more focused on the benefits of the candle, for example. It doesn't really matter. You can pick any two axes and you draw yourself across. Just take a piece of A4 paper, draw across, and then you can plot in your competitors. So you might have, this company is actually a beeswax company, but they're very value focused. So I'm going to put them here. And then this one is another beeswax company, but they are actually focused on very premium. So I'm going to put them over here. So however you do it, what happens is when you start doing this map, you realize that even though there are lots of other people doing the same things as you, you can map out where they sit and then start identifying where it is that you sit and where the gaps are and where everybody's crowding together. Can you just shift slightly differently? And it helps you really focus in and really focus on what you want to do for your business specifically. If you're not really sure about your niche, if you do this exercise or you struggle with this exercise or you just don't really understand why your customer would buy from you instead of buying from somebody else, then it may just be a sign that you need to spend a bit more time looking into your customer, what they want, what's already out there and where can you fit in and do something different. Because ultimately, if you're going to find it difficult to articulate to yourself why somebody should shop from you, why somebody should purchase your products, then you're going to really struggle to articulate that to your customer, and also in the long run to any potential stockists or any collaborations. It's just much harder to do if you yourself are not really clear on what it is that you do that is different. So going into 2021, that is a really great place to start. Get clear on your niche, what you offer that's different, be proud of it, feel really secure in how you're offering something different. Because yes, there's lots of businesses entering this market and there are lots of people who are already in here, but only you could do your products your way. So you will have a niche, you will have a unique point of view, but you need to connect with it now more than ever as the marketplace becomes increasingly crowded. This brings me on to my second point, which you've also heard me say before, but really does bear repeating, and especially when we're talking about how to be successful in 2021. In 2021, you need to be really clear about your customer. Specifically, you need to be clear about where your customer is right now and how you can create the products that will fit into their lifestyle. And when Elizabeth and I did this session, we had a perfect example of this, which is a company called Partners in Wine, started by Lucy Hitchcock, who also runs Sassy Digital. And Partners in Wine is a business that makes a bottle that you can pour a bottle of cold, chilled rosé into and take it to the park and have a picnic with your friends, and it keeps it cool. And it also keeps your mulled wine hot during the winter time. So basically it's something along the lines of a water bottle, but for wine. And then they have matching tumblers. And basically the product is perfect for the customer who suddenly finds that all of their socializing has to take place outdoors. And not only that, it's not just a one-hit wonder type product, it will also be really appealing to everybody who is concerned about minimizing their waste. So you no longer have to take those horrible plastic cups with you to the park. You can take these beautiful, stylish stainless steel tumblers as well as your wine bottle with your perfectly chilled bottle of wine or your perfectly warm bottle of mulled wine, for example. So this is just an example of how Lucy had really understood her customer, understood what their challenges were, looked for a product that solved the problem and created it. And we are not selling products, we are solving problems. I've talked about this before, but again, just to kind of reiterate that we are selling things that solve problems for people, and it may not feel like they're the biggest problems that we're solving. It could just be that they need the perfect card to express to somebody how they feel, but that's still a problem that they have and you're offering them a solution. So think about the problems that your customers have right now, focus in on what they are. Maybe spend some time at this quieter time of the year. If you're having a quieter sales time right now, maybe spend some time talking to your customers, really getting your head around where they are, what kind of support that they need, what their problems are, and see how you can help solve those problems. Another thing that was developed in response to this idea of solving people's problems was the whole surge in distance gifting. So many small businesses had a very strong Christmas because they focused on this idea of not being able to see your loved ones and therefore needing to send their gifts to them directly instead of purchasing them and then giving it to them face to face. So lots of small businesses reacted to that by offering gift wrap, handwritten cards, and lots of other little touches that made it really perfect for customers to engage with the business, and basically it solved a problem for them. They could send something lovely to somebody they cared about at Christmas when they couldn't see them in person and know that that person was going to have a really positive experience unwrapping this lovely gift. And basically everybody's happy. So knowing your customer in 2021 is more important than ever before, and don't be afraid to meet them where they are. Ultimately, all success in retail and product-based businesses comes down to one thing: creating products that are perfect for your customers and putting them out there for them to buy. The best sales strategy, one of my catchphrases, the best sales strategy is a great product strategy. And a great product strategy starts with knowing your customer. So make sure that you're talking to your customer, make sure you understand where they are, and don't be afraid to put that into your marketing. A little bit about you get where they are, you get where the headspace is. Again, if you sell candles, you're selling a moment of calm in a hectic day. All of those things, just be clear about what is on your customer's mind. Are they going through the homeschool business life juggle that everyone else is going through right now? And actually what they need is a product that is a really great way to take care of themselves and to save their sanity. Okay, the next point that I wanted to talk about for success in 2021 is that you have to make it easy for the customer. And I'll explain that in a little bit more detail. So, as I touched on earlier, online shopping has become the new norm. It has grown substantially in the last few years, and particularly in the last year as a result of everything that we've talked about and the closure of physical stores, or just generally the need to stay home and stay safe. So it has opened up a huge opportunity for small businesses who have a strong digital presence. The flip side of this, and this is what I wanted to touch on, was that if you want to be a successful product business in 2021, then you have to recognize that customers' expectations have shifted. The plus side about them understanding how easy it is to shop online can also, in a way, be a challenge because, yes, they trust you, they trust purchasing from somebody that they've come across on the internet. They trust that they will get their products and that they'll be able to be compensated if they don't. So the trust is there, which really helps. But at the same time, the expectation is there. And a lot of that comes down towards about delivery. So that's a whole other podcast episode that I'm planning actually talking about postage and delivery, because it is a huge issue and something that's on the mind of a lot of people. But the point I just want to make is it's really about customer service. Now, a lot of people feared that when Amazon introduced Amazon Prime, I believe, for example, the fastest delivery from Amazon ever recorded took 9 minutes. So a 9-minute delivery from the Amazon Prime web order was placed and 9 minutes later it was delivered. So there was a concern when this started that Amazon was going to really mess with the customers' expectations and their demands, and that we'd see more and more customers who were insisting on next day or even same day delivery. I think what's happened is a little bit more nuanced than that. It has certainly shifted their expectations, especially from the larger retailers, but I do think that they are recognizing that smaller retailers just can't act that way. They don't have the same infrastructure. They don't have the same way of setting themselves up. And so they are willing to wait, especially if it's a handmade product. They do understand that you maybe aren't posting as frequently as you were because of your own restrictions and getting to the post office or having parcels picked up. And they are also willing to be patient, especially if they know that you're making the product. So while on the one hand, that's good news that they are more patient and they're not expecting everything to turn up immediately in the same way that they do from Amazon, they are still expecting a very, very high level of customer service. So especially if you're first starting out, I would think about the ways in which you're going to deal with customer queries and make one of your priorities dealing with them promptly and clearly. So they want to know delivery updates, probably infuriatingly. I've spoken to a lot of people who were tearing their hair out over Christmas because, of course, deliveries were particularly problematic. They're going to want to know updates about their order, and they're going to want to ideally have tracking information if that's something that you can offer. And you may want to think about whether or not you have a 2-tier system. So you might have free shipping without tracking, but you give them the option to pay for an upgraded shipping option where they can get that tracking information. They can get the kind of real-time updates and that kind of thing. So give them the option if that's what they want. But again, the priority has got to be on customer service. So yes, they understand that small businesses operate differently, but it doesn't mean they have any lower expectations as the quality of the customer service. So that is definitely going to help you also be a differentiator in 2021. Don't forget that we are not in the business of selling products. We're in the business of acquiring customers. one of the best ways to grow your business organically and profitably is to increase the number of returning visitors that you have and to get people to come back and shop from you frequently. And customer service is a huge part of that. So don't forget in 2021 that having a really robust way of dealing with customer queries and ensuring a first-class customer experience will help you differentiate yourself. And the final point I want to make about success in 2021 then is you need to share your story. Storytelling, it has been something I've talked about probably for about the last 3 years now. It is a huge movement in marketing. People want to know stories. They want to feel that connection with you and they want to shop and support people who share their values. So don't forget to share your stories. It's only going to become more important. Another one of the businesses that Elizabeth and I highlighted in our session was Amber, who runs a business called The Flower and the Flea. And if you've not checked her out, I definitely suggest that you go take a look at her Instagram account. Amber shares so much passion about her product. So her product is antique glass beads that she, and I think I've talked about her on the podcast before, she sources them from flea markets in Austria, and she's just so excited about this topic and so passionate about it. You go on the buying trips with her as she finds these, they're basically trivets that people would create into these designs, and then she takes the ones that have broken and she rescues the beads and makes them into jewellery. So she takes you on the journey, she shares the story, she shows you everything, but most of all, she is passionate about it. And that's really the other part of sharing your story, is share your passion, show people what you believe in, show them how hard you worked on this product. People buy what you get excited about. And if you're not excited about your product, then chances are they won't be either. So you want to be sharing that excitement and sharing the story with them, share the behind the scenes. It's only going to continue to become more important as you look for ways to differentiate yourself and to create real connections with customers who come back and buy from you again and again. It's going to be about that ability to connect with them and to share your story and share your passion. And on that note, I would say that's something that you have to think about. Another way to look at success in 2021 is, what will it take for you to maintain that level of excitement and enthusiasm in your business? I'm a big believer that business success isn't just about the numbers, it's also about how you as a business owner feel. So you are the most important asset in your business, and you being able to show up in a way that shows your enthusiasm and your excitement is only going to help you sell your products. So think about what that means. Think about what you need as a business owner to keep that energy and excitement going. Do you need more support? Do you need better boundaries about taking time off? Do you need more support outside the business but in your day-to-day life? Do you need help with some other aspect that allows you to turn up in a way that is excited and positive and is going to draw people to your positive energy? So I hope you've enjoyed this. I'd love to know what you're planning on doing in 2021. Do come over, say hi to me on Instagram at Resilient Retail Club. I love when people share where they are listening to the podcast. It's always gives me such a boost in my day to see you tuning in. So come over and tell me what you're planning on doing in 2021. Do check out resilientretailclub.com/challenge. You've just about got time. The doors to the challenge are closing on Friday, so come along and join us for 5 days focusing on planning your year for 2021, planning your sales, thinking about sales growth, thinking about how you can make this year a great year for you and your business. I do believe it will be a really strong year for small businesses. I think there's all to play for, and I feel very, very positive about this. So I hope you'll come and join me for 5 days of positivity and fun, as well as lots of opportunities to ask questions of other people and to share some ideas. Do please take a minute, if you have a chance, to rate and review this podcast, especially on iTunes. It's so helpful to me when I'm trying to get the podcast out to more listeners. And subscribe on iTunes, and you'll be the first to know next time a new episode's released. Thanks so much for listening. If you've enjoyed this week's episode, then I invite you to check out resilientretailclub.com. The Resilient Retail Club is the membership for anyone wanting to start, grow, or scale a profitable product business. No more trawling Google trying to find the answers to your questions or wading through general business advice that speaks mainly to service-based businesses. Whether you're still at the idea stage or you've been going for a while but want to get more focused and organised when it comes to your business, the Resilient Retail Club is the place for you. With a library of courses tailored to creative product businesses, several live sessions a month, and a supportive and active community, the Resilient Retail Club is the perfect membership to help you hit your goals faster. Check it out at resilientretailclub.com.